eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. New look, got the ladies shook. New watch saying it's my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Give the attention, I'm on a mission. I'm in with the vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We coming ready or not, you better steady yourself, because we're racing somehow. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing off. We're taking over your town, hit the switch and shut it down. Like India, we're electric, never stop. We coming ready or not, we coming ready or not. We're giving all that we got, we're giving all that we got. We're coming ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire, the stratosphere getting high. We're
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new Click It RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at Click It RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
2 weeks have passed since the twists and turns were made at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and tonight the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series heads east to the Pocono Mountains in Long Pond, Pennsylvania for 60 demanding laps around the Tricky Triangle. Hello everybody, I'm Jason Rockefeller, welcoming you to coverage of race number 2 for round 2 of the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series here on FTN. Join with me tonight in the booth is FTN's very own David Kreutz and driver of the number 54 Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing and the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, Daniel Falkingham, and also our producer in the booth, Cody Deemers, also known as Roosters. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to FTN's coverage. Glad to have you all here tonight from the Tricky Triangle. Not 4, but 3 turns around this 2.5-mile asphalt triangle. And David, starting off with you, man, how we doing tonight? How we feeling about this race?
Well, for me, it's the first time I've been in a Road to Pro booth since we started FTN coverage on Road to Pro in February at Daytona. I might have missed all the action as a broadcaster, but as a viewer, it's been amazing. Last time we were at an oval, Charlotte, dead heat finish. I know you and Dan called that one as well as Terry Radford, but tonight, back at a big oval here in Long Pond, and I'm sure we're going to see some high-octane racing. Defending winner in top split, Daniel Buttafuoco is here. Ex-Coke drivers like Mercurio, Alfala. We've got the stars of yesteryear looking to prove their worth once again today, and I'm going to tell you this much. High-octane, it's going to be quick, and we got one driver with us in the booth as always. Daniel, man, how do you feel going into this one?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be a great race tonight. Pocono Raceway, they call it the Tricky Triangle for a reason. 3 different corners. They're all very different in banking and the way you have to race and drive them. It's going to be a great race tonight, and with how these trucks handle and how they race, it's going to be very interesting to see. Like, we're going to see a lot of drafting. The draft's going to play a huge factor tonight. It's going to play a huge factor if we have green flag pit stops as well. So anything's going to happen in this race tonight, and I'm ready to get to it.
Yeah, we're obviously all pumped up, ready to go. I can't wait to watch this virtual race here tonight on FTN. Obviously, can't wait for the Pocono weekend this weekend. going to be there in person, so it's going to be very interesting to say the least. Turn 1, based off the old Trenton Speedway at 14 degrees of banking. Turn 2, also known as the tunnel turn, 2 degrees based off of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then 6 degrees of banking is the Milwaukee Mile in turn number 3. I believe I said 2 degrees for Indianapolis. That was 8 degrees in turn number 2. Qualifying is getting ready to come to an end here. Currently, Agnell Phillip holds the top spot as you watch Ryan Hill slam into the wall, similar to Casey Kane's crash here back in 2015 in that Aquafina car. But with that, guys, that's going to wrap up qualifying. Agnell Phillip in the number 9 machine will take the pole here tonight as these guys are getting ready to get on the grid. And Daniel, I want to ask you one thing, man, before we start to go grid here in just a second. What are the things that these viewers can expect tonight here for race number 2 in round 2?
Well, one thing you're going to learn, or you're going to see tonight, like I've already mentioned, the draft's going to play a huge factor tonight because these trucks don't have a lot of horsepower, so the draft's going to play a huge factor. And I don't think we're going to get a lot. This race is really, you're not going to see a lot of guys get really spread out. Like that leader, whoever, like Agnell Phillips leading us to the green flag tonight, he's not just going to drive away and pull away. He might have a good handling truck out front, but with how strong the draft is, everyone's going to be all close together, all packed up together. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy these guys are going to play tonight. If we do go the distance, we go all the way green flag. These guys should be able to make it on one pit stop tonight if we go green. But if we have those caution flags, expect these restarts to get really, really wild as we get to the end of this thing.
Pocono restarts always wild, filing out 3, 4, 5, heck, even 6 wide at some points. But with that, these truckers are ready, and they are on the grid down on pit road, down that long straightaway here. Row 1 tonight, going to be Agnell Phillip, Kenny Brady in second there. Third and fourth, you have Briar LaPrade, Logan Helton. Fifth and sixth, Mitchell Hunt, Brian Mercurio in the number 1 machine. Seventh and eighth, Christopher Pfeffer, and Caden Rush starts 8th. And then 9th and 10th, Ray Alfala, iRacing legend, and Eddie Kerner in the number 19 machine.
From there on out, we've got the 11th spot. Terry said Hunter G. I'll take my crack at it. It's Hunter Geegan in the 11th spot with Jack Coyne in position number 12 to round out the top dozen. The Baker's dozen has Zach Nichols in 13th and Matthew Zwack, the 15 machines, in 14th, with Philip Groner position number 15 and James Wenzel 16th on the board. Defending winner in Daniel Buttafuoco for the top split. He's back with us tonight. He's 17th, and Cody Harris is 18th, with Spencer Kostowicz in 19th and Brandon Pipgrass in position number 20.
Rolling off 21st is going to be Noah Betts, and you got Tanner Love here in 22nd, Jackson Crowder in 23rd, Kenny Humpy in 24th, Charles Grant 25th, Tommy Austin in 26th in the 26 machine, Matt Kemp 27th, Michael Venable in 28th, Joseph Causey in 29th, and Ryan Hill rounding out the top 30. And as we round out the rest of the grid here, we have Kyler Wynn in 31st, Luke Knupp in 32nd, and then Kyle Peddle and Thomas Hazard rounding out the grid. They chose to not take a time in qualifying, and they're going to be coming from very deep here in the field tonight, Jason.
Yeah, and obviously, too, Dan, you did talk about track position going to be such a key. Only half a lap to go until these eNASCAR drivers fighting to get to the top pylon on the eNASCAR side of things, going from here to contender here in a few weeks, a few months, you could say. And then obviously top 20 contender, move on to the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Should be a fun night here tonight on FTN. Obviously, thank you all for watching. Again, Jason Rockfell up here in the booth, David Kreutz, and Daniel Falkingham as well, driving the number 54 in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. But with that being said, drivers are heading through turn 2, down the straightaway and into turn number 3. And remember, no turn number 4. As they always say, what turn 4? Race number 2, round 2 of the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series is ready to go here in the Pocono Mountains. Heading off turn number 3, pace car ducks in line. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. Race number 2, round 2 is underway here from the Pocono Raceway.
And a nice jump out in front there for Agno Phillip, able to take it by 2-3 car lengths into the first turn. It's side by side from there on out with Briar LaPrade and Kenny Brady going to battle. Agno Phillip, a nice qualifying effort. Last time I broadcast the Road to Pro race, it was Agno who came out on top at Daytona, and looking to continue that success on a 2.5-mile circuit. It's not a super speedway track per se, but high speeds and high expectations come in the second round of Road to Pro. I'm sure Agno Phillip is pushing to the limit right now, trying to break away as the mid-pack is as dense as it can get. Take a look at the double file action. Luckily, we haven't seen anything get too risky so far, but everyone's jousting for positions, even in the early going of this race.
Looks like they're going to make their way up to number 3 here. It looks like it's about single file for the first 7 or 8 trucks. And then we got side-by-side action back here for right around the top 10 spot as Agno Phillip's going to lead lap number 1, making their way down into number 1 once more. As we got a battle for looks like P7, P8 as Eddie Kerner's looking down the inside here into turn 1.
Eddie Kerner to the inside right there on the number 18 machine. That's Mitchell Hunt, I believe. He'll be able to clear him off turn number 1. And for the folks at home watching, sim stamp numbers are not what is on our graphic board, obviously. So you'll be looking at what these drivers preferred and what their iRating number is based on the iRating. So what we call sometimes based on their paint schemes can be different from the grid. So we're always trying to figure out who is who right now. But everybody's still just single file trying to get away right now as they head on to complete lap number 2. Heading through turn 3, Agno Phillip has almost half a second over Briar LaPrade in the number 3. Kenny Brady in the 14 is P3 with Agno Phillip. Make that Christopher Pfeffer fastest lap on the racetrack with a 54.499 as they head into 1.
And it's a nice run for all the drivers up ahead. You said Pfeffer's got the fastest lap. Well, right now, not quite sure if that means all too much. Top 20 drivers are all the way single file. Going down to the drivers like Matthews Wack, you'll begin to see battles. As we're looking on board with Philip Groner, you can see it's a train. Driver after driver in succession, getting into the wake of one another, building that slipstream. Drivers further on back will use less energy, use less on the tire, and have more speed and performance. But at the same time, they're getting mired back. And Agno Phillip seems to have something in that machine that nobody else has. The raw pace is there. And coming out of turn 3, once again, Phillip extending that lead even further. Looks like Brandon Pipgrass, who has found himself in the 22nd spot, now going to see a battle right behind him. But it is Agno Phillip who leads the way as we watch the side-by-side racing on back.
Yeah, Agno Phillip, he's having a great start to this race. Obviously got on the pole here, and didn't think we were going to see someone stretch out to the lead this early. He's got very good on the short run, but we'll see how that pace is going to be as we get longer into this race. And Briar LaPrade trying to stay in touching distance there, which I'm surprised. Like, the leader, or like this pack is not more close here to the leader. Like, whatever Agno Phillip's got underneath that truck right now, he is hooked up right now, and hopefully he can stay that way for the rest of the race. He had a really good finish 2 weekends ago in Mid-Ohio. He's trying to carry that same success here this weekend.
For sure, trying to carry that same success, almost out to 0.7 of a second over Briar LaPrade, Kenny Brady, Brian Mercurio, Logan Helton, the top 5 right now. As you look back behind these drivers, Brian Mercurio looking to the inside of Logan Helton, and now Logan Helton seems to kind of dip out right now. He is Caden Rush right in tow behind him, but right now, battle for second, Kenny Brady down to the inside of the racetrack. He'll try to make the move on Briar LaPrade right now, heading into turn 1. They're side by side out of 1 down the backstretch.
And this is exactly what Kenny Brady needs in regards to his championship standing. Comes into the night 10th out of the 20 drivers that will advance to the Contender Series. It's good to be in it for now, but one shaky race could ruin his chances. He's gotten some practice here with these trucks, not only in open competition, but in the C-Fixed realm. I saw him earlier this week, and it looks like the practice is making perfect. Getting around Briar LaPrade, he is. As we look further back in the field, that's going to be the number 6 machine on your frame, and that is the driver. Well, of course, the number 6 on your end, but that would be Jackson Crowder. Now working with Michael Venable. We got Noah Bitts in there as well, and Bitts going to make it down to the line. He's got pressure on the inside as they come through to make it lap 6. Double file beginning to be a bit more prevalent in the mid-pack, but most drivers are staying calm.
Everyone trying to stay calm down here as everyone makes their way back to turn 1. We still got a good side-by-side battle here between Jackson Crowder and Noah Bitts. As we look further up the road, there's our winner from round 1 of round 2, or should I say race 1 of round 2, excuse me. Daniel Buttafugo trying to go toe-to-toe with Ray Alfala. and he decides to slot back in line as we go back through the tunnel turn. Daniel Buttafuoco started this race in 17th place. Did not have the greatest qualifying effort, but we know how good that truck is. He's going to make his way to the field, and that's his teammate right behind him in Matthew Zwack out of the NFR camp.
Yeah, everybody just trying to fight, claw for every position right now. And obviously, Dan, I'm going to head back to you real quick. We talk about track position being so key. And obviously, that leads to kind of the thing with setups. This is a 60-lap race, one stop. When do you think you're going to start to see the men be separated from the boys and start to see those setups really come into play, and also the tire wear?
The only thing we're probably going to see this until we get into a really, really long run is look at Brian Mercurio. He's using that third or fourth lane, and that's very been interesting to figure out here, because what I've noticed here at Pocono over the last few years is those higher lanes, they've actually got some pretty good grip to them in that third and fourth lanes, which is going to be very crucial if you're going to try to make some moves on some restarts as we get down to the end of this thing. If we have some late race restarts, there's some pretty good grip up there, and good on Mercurio trying to stay out of that dirty air as well, trying to use most of that clean air as you can, try to create a good run off the corner to try to close in on those leaders up ahead of them. But back to the strategy I was talking about, it's almost going to be like what you see at plate races, where everyone's probably going to try to pit together. But like we saw about where we're going to see these long runs come in, we're probably going to see that until we get to the very tail end of a fuel run. Because like I said, all these guys are going to be mostly grouped together with how strong this draft is around this big old 2.5 mile triangle. And really looking to see who's going to have the best here at the end of this run, which is probably going to be right around 30 laps. We'll probably be right on the threshold to make it on a one-stop strategy. And, yeah, we'll have to see what happens when we get down to that point, hopefully.
And obviously, too, everybody's just playing different strategy, and one caution could change it all. You could see varying strategies. You could see drivers come down, especially if we were to get an early yellow right now. You're going to see guys probably come down to the pit road, take some fuel, and then wait to come in and take tires, and could separate it into a two-stop race, potentially, just to take fuel. But obviously, that is all depending on if we get a yellow. But everybody right now, though, still single file. Some guys trying to pull out a line right now. I believe you're looking at Ray Alfalo. That's the number 2 machine. Mitchell Hunt up on his outside. He's got Daniel Buttafuoco right back behind him as Ray Alfalo is getting the choo-choo train right up top on side of him. They're trying to make a look to the outside here into 1.
Not quite sure if that look is going to work for now, but Ray Alfalo is going to have to fight for every spot he can get tonight. Comes in tonight 50th in points, 28 points back, and the old 4-time champion needs to put on a good show here to keep himself in contention. Only 7 races in this second round, so time's of the essence already. He's inside the top 10, but gets hustled out there by the number 18 machine of Mitchell Hunt once more. He's got a nice slipstream going through, and as we look up to the front of the field once again, all drivers are looking to get that extra edge. We got a side-by-side battle right there as Agno Phillip continues to pull away.
Agno Phillip continuing to hold that advantage, which, like I said, I'm so surprised he's able to hold his advantage. That just shows how good of a truck he's got underneath him right now. And we'll see as we get deeper into this ride. Is he only going to get better? Can he drive away from this big old draft pack that's right behind him? That is, we'll have to wait and see. But as you see right through the field, everyone's single file. We look at Kenny Brady right there. Then we got Brian Pratt and Brian Mercurio right there in tow. And it looks like to be Christopher Pfeffer there in P5. And then we got Eddie Kerner and others on the chase here as we make our way down the tunnel turn as we're coming around. It's complete lap 10 as Daniel Buttafuoco looking for a spot underneath Ray Alfalo. Is not going to do it. He decides to back out, and we'll try again once more.
He thought about it before heading into turn number 2, tucked back in line. You see the field continuing to be single file, just like Daniel Falkingham did say. Draft is going to play effect. Going to be like a super speedway, but if you take it and put it on a 2.5 mile triangle, what an awkward speedway that would be if it were a super speedway. But nevertheless, everybody's still single file right now, currently lap 11. So 50 laps to go already, David. How we feeling this race is playing out so far? It's looking like cool, calm, collective. Do you think anybody's going to start to pick up the aggressive level here as the laps wind down and we get to when that green flag stop's going to happen?
I'll have to admit, it shocked me how clean these guys have kept it. We're looking at the closest battle of the racetrack right now involving Charles Grant and Kyler Wynn. They're going at each other right now for about the 26th position. From there on ahead, it's been very clean, and that's the reason, of course, we've stayed green with no issues. The back of the field, they're getting feisty. They know they're losing time to the leader. Agno Phillip still has that advantage, so anything they can do is working as we see door banging now between multiple drivers.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. That looks to be Kenny Humpy, I believe, and Tommy. I'm trying to read who that other truck is. I think that might be Tommy Gossett. Correct me if I'm wrong. But a little bit of door banging. I don't know what was going on there. Let's see people trying to just argue for space right there. And, yeah, I don't know what that was all about. These guys don't want to do too much of that. But thankfully, something that is new for this round, I think we talked about too much 2 weeks ago, Jason, is these trucks now have the brand new damage model. These guys didn't have that damage model back in round 1. But here in round 2, they got the new damage model that came in the latest iRacing build. So these guys are able to beat and bang and without receiving too much damage. Because before, you could scrape someone's door, and that would give you so much fender damage, your race is over. Like, you have so much damage, you're not really be able to even keep up speed. But now, these guys are able to get maybe a little bit more aggressive on pushing, a little bit more aggressive on banging doors, like what we're seeing right here. And it's going to make the intensity even more intense.
Yeah, and you see right there, the number 5 machine passes the 88 right there through turn number 3. Whoa, and loose right there went 1 machine. Oh, and that's going to be close right there. I believe that could be the 62 machine if that's the correct number. This is deeper in the field right there. Nearly pinched him into the wall. That was Kyler Wynn pinching. I believe that was Matt Kemp in the wall there off turn number 3. So almost some contact there. They were able to gather it back up. But obviously, too, Dan talked about the damage model that's been new and improved here for the trucks on iRacing. And this track being such an aerodynamic-dependent track, you want to make sure that you have everything set in stone. Everything's good. No fenders pulling out. No nothing. But everybody's still single file up at the front. But we're starting to have a heated battle for the lead almost. Kenny Brady has chopped that gap to Agnell Phillip. He is closing in slowly, and he has some long-run pace, it looks like. Close it into about 15.15 seconds right now. It's almost less than a tenth as he heads down the front straightaway, heading into 1.
This is about the best that Kenny Brady's looked all race long to take that lead from Agnell Phillip. They are now as close as they can be to one another without being side by side. The Martin Sport number 14, according to our timing and scoring, is the number 8 on your screen, and he's now on the draft of that number 9. It looks like now Agnell Phillip is just going to let him stay there. Not much more you can do but defend your line. It's the most important thing here around Pocono. You got to be precise. They almost get in the wall that time by. That's how hard they're pushing it. At speeds over 170 miles an hour, you cannot risk missing your apex, missing your line. It all matters, and it matters very much so as we watch on board with Kenny Brady trailing the leader of this race. Coming out of lap 15 this time by, make it a quarter or so as Brady blinks out just a bit. The top 2 drivers are still within about a tenth and a half of one another. Agnell Phillip leads, Kenny Brady blinks as he continues his chase, and Briar LaPrade waits in the wings. Maybe something will happen that gives him a shot.
That's the last thing you need if you're Kenny Brady. Keep on blinking in and out. Don't know if he's struggling with his connection or whatnot. And I want to make a quick correction. That was Joseph Causey that was battling away with Kenny Humpy, not Tommy Gossett. So that was my apologies. But yeah, Kenny Brady, he's looking really good as we're about maybe halfway through a fuel run, halfway to the pit stop. If these guys are going to split it right down split it. I'm trying to get my words out. Split it right down evenly. I'm eating up my words tonight. Trying to split it down evenly to that pit stop at lap 30. That'll be halfway point. But, guys, Kenny is there. He's trying to get down to Agnell Phillip. Agnell's still looking good in that clean air, but Kenny is handling really good behind somebody in dirty air. We'll see if he can pounce here as they head back to turn 1 as we are quarter distance here at Pocono.
Kenny's been right on the tire tracks of Agnell Phillip the last handful of laps. The gap's still about a tenth and a half right now as they head into turn 1. And if these two get side by side, this would be a perfect opportunity for Briar LaPrade to pounce. But obviously these guys got to make it to their pit window. About 32 laps of fuel guaranteed in these trucks. So they will be pitting around the lap 30 mark. But so far, still Agnell Phillip out front right now over Kenny Brady. He drifts up the track a little bit out of the tunnel turn. Everybody, in fact, does. Kenny had a run, wasn't able to do anything with it. They're still single file as Brady waits in the wings right now into 3.
Kenny Brady still holding off and making a real charge for that race lead, but what more can you do in a situation like this? Aggression this early, at least over-aggression this early, would be uncalled for. There's still a fuel run to get done, and from there on out, there's still the remainder of this race. Only 17 laps in out of 60, and there's a lot of time until even the pit stops become more frequent, but Brady goes down to the inside line. We've got ourselves a battle for lead, and they're side-by-side through turn 1. Looks like it's going to be Agnell Phillip with a run off the corner, but they're side by side for the first time, and it looks like Agnell Phillip barely able to get clear. Just almost there, Kenny Brady is, and they'll go into the tunnel turn all the same. Phillip not able to make that closing decision.
If you're Briar the Pride, you're looking at your chops right now, seeing the guys side by side as Agnell Phillip goes way wide in the tunnel turn. I'm not sure if he just missed his cornering right there, but he's going to remain side by side with Kenny Brady, and he's going to just drop in line. Kenny Brady now takes the race lead, new leader, our first lead change of the night. And here goes Briar the Pride. Now he wants a battle for second here, trying to get past Agnell Phillip. Now we'll see what Kenny Brady, can he pull away now as we get ready to start lap number 18 here, Pocono. Is Agnell Phillip going to have a look here? He's just going to stay right behind the number 8 machine as they head back down to turn number 1. And we'll see if Briar LaPrade, does he pull out of line? He stays right in line as we complete lap 17.
Agnell Phillip gave a little bit of a bump to Kenny Brady heading into 1. Just wanted to get him out there a little bit. Maybe ship him into the corner there. I'm just kidding with that. But nevertheless, Kenny Brady takes the lead from Agnell Phillip. Briar LaPrade right there. So just from those two getting side by side for about a lap to a lap and a half. And that is able Briar LaPrade to close up big time. And obviously, Daniel, going to throw it back to you real quick. Just being side by side, I assume when you're running here at Pocono, knowing that it's pretty much a one-lane racetrack, you really don't want to be side-by-side with a guy too long. You want to be on that preferred groove. Would that be the best-case scenario, is if you have a guy on your inside-outside, you know you're faster than him, you're just going to let him by, or you're going to fight for it?
With the current situation that these guys are in this round, you need to get all the points you can get. Unless you're getting challenged, if they're getting challenged behind, you don't want to give up the position because you don't want to just keep dropping places. But if there's room where you can let someone go and get in behind them, go for it. But if you have like a whole train behind you, behind that next guy, you're trying to let go, I wouldn't. I'd try to race them so you don't give up too much time because you're already losing a lot of time anyway. You might as well just put up the fight and see if you can hold them off, as Agnell Phillip seems to be picking up the pace right ahead of Briar LaPrade. Like we said, Briar was able to catch that racing side by side between Kenny and Agnell, but now, it's Pfeffer had a big moment off the tunnel turn as Eddie Kerner's going to get to, he gets to his outside. He's going to turn him at turn number 3, and he's going to overcorrect into the wall. We got our first caution on the racetrack as Chris Pfeffer's in the wall. Nobody hit him. Everyone's going to avoid him as we are under caution.
That's a heartbreaker there for the number 66 of Chris Pfeffer. 6 on our end according to iRating, and he's going to have a wild ride. We'll take an instant replay here on FTN and show you what just happened. That looked like he had it saved almost, and we're taking it back right now, trying to find out just what happened. It still looks to be the live feed. We'll take it back even further, show you more. It looks like it's not cooperating with us, guys. We'll try to manually get there. Tell you this much. Heartbreaker that brings out a first yellow.
Yeah, definitely heartbreak right now. And here we go, seeing it. And Dan, it looks like he just tried to pinch him right there up on the outside. Tokyo drifting, heading through 3. Unfortunately, you can only overcorrect it, though, at such a later point here, heading into turn 3. And unfortunately, that's what Chris Pfeffer did in the number 6.
For a second, I thought it was going to look like he was going to be able to hang on to that. It looked like a nice little Tokyo drift right there. But unfortunately, I was losing my voice there as I was trying to call the action. I've been losing my voice over all of today, but we're trying to hang in there. But it was just a weird moment. Just had a little moment off the stall turn. Then Eddie Kerner was trying to take advantage, and Pfeffer was just not going to give him the room. He did not want to give up his right rear right there because of how you give up your right rear here, especially with how big the draft is and how much track position means, you're going to go backwards. But unfortunately, it ended up being a little bit worse than what Pfeffer had planned on. But now, with all that out of the way, we're under our first yellow. These guys are going to come down and for their first set of pit stops. And now I'm not exactly sure if this is going to get them to the end. They might have to do a little bit of fuel saving. They might have to pit one more time. We'll have to see how this race plays out as they're all coming to pit road.
Yeah, and everybody now comes to pit road, led by Kenny Brady in the number 8 machine. By the looks of it, might be some guys taking some tires here. Remember, only 2 sets of tires. So if they were to pit now, you're going to take some tires probably, since we're already 21 laps into this race. We're going to see right here, David, who takes what coming into the pit boxes this time by.
Looks like Agnell Phillip missed his stall on entry there. Very slow through, and that's going to change the game. We got one driver on the way right now, and that looks to be Mitchell Hunt. Yep, it's going to be Mitchell. And right now, coming out of pit road, it's going to be Briar LaPrade who gets the jump on them all. LaPrade over Kenny Brady. Then we've got Mercurio. Caden Rush finds himself involved with Buttafuoco and Logan Hamilton. Agnell Phillip stuck in the middle, and we've got ourselves a change in the complexion. A lot of drivers making that one work better than our former leader. Briar LaPrade's now the new man out in front off pit road, and Mitchell Hunt is trying to do it a little bit different.
Yeah, Mitchell Hunt just drove by his pit box. I guess he just forgot where his pit box was, missed it. So I don't know if he's going to come back to the pits this time and get service, or unless he's just going to stay out here. But either way, that is a huge mistake by Mitchell Hunt there. Running in the solidly in the top 10, it is now about to give up all his track position here when we get ready to go by green. But yeah, like I said, Agnell Phillip, probably one of the big losers there on that side of pit stop. So we'll have to see if he can get his way back to the field, which he looked really good on a short run. So we'll have to see. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what happens here. Maybe Mitchell will come into the pits. Maybe not. We'll have to see what he does. But obviously, we've been having such a great race tonight. You know, obviously, iRacing being such a great sim racing platform for all these guys, the best sim racing platform. So that makes me want to just sit here and say, if you want to get the latest iRacing and eNASCAR news, you can scan the QR code. It's going to pop up here in just a second, right up on your screen, to sign up for the eNASCAR newsletter to get all the latest updates and offers. And if you do like the racing that you're seeing tonight from Pocono and have an interest in starting your sim racing career, you can also go to iRacing.com right now and sign up for 40% off if you're a new member. So what are you waiting for? Go to iRacing.com today to check out this beautiful sim racing world that you're witnessing here tonight on FTN. Again, my name's Jason Rockfell up in the booth tonight. Joining me is David Kreutz and Daniel Falkingham, driver the number 54 for Joe Gibbs Racing in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Well, David, we've already gotten one green flag run under our belt. What do we think so far, as we're just 21 laps complete here into tonight's event? What do you think we can expect here from the race on out?
I'll say this. Looking at that final stretch with your top 3 guys that were racing, I was expecting Briar LaPrade to make a move. He's got Coke experience. He's a veteran on the sim, and I figured that he saw the aggression ahead of him and he would use that as an opportunity to take the pass under green. He did something a bit better. Pit stop strategy, very savvy with it. He's got himself the outside line here, and Mitchell Hunt is the big question mark. He did not take a pit stop at all, missed his stall and went on his way. So we'll see if these drivers are able to avoid him. 22 laps in here, and it's going to be the 18 and 19 on your screens that run at the front of the field. Driver identifier, though, as we put that on the bottom right of your screen, will tell you Briar LaPrade is in the number 3 tonight. That's what he comes in on in terms of iRating. iRating is how these guys are ranked. We'll try to keep the bottom right on and activated for the good majority of the rest of the race here, so you all know who's who. He's one of the guys who's had a lot of experience in the sim, in even the Coke series. Now he's back on his way, grinding back up, and this could be the big moment for him to get up there and maybe make a change. Pace cars in this time by. The first restart of the race is underway with a blinding start by Mitchell Hunt.
Yeah, and the green flag is back out. Mitchell Hunt gets out to a little bit of a comfortable lead by about half a car length right now, heading into turn number 1. Briar LaPrade, though, looks to his outside here. Going to try to use those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. He's got Kenny Brady in the wings. He'll slide right up in front of Brian Mercurio. Check up the field just a tad bit. LaPrade tries to block Mitchell Hunt down to the bottom, with Kenny Brady having some help from Brian Mercurio in the wings as they head into the tunnel turn.
Heading into the tunnel turn here, Mitchell Hunt on those old tires, trying to choose to stay out here. He's going to get put in the middle by Caden Rush, and looks to be Logan Helton here, just trying to stay out of the way after missing his pit box. Just going to gradually just fall to the back of the field here as he gets close to Daniel Buttafuoco and Eddie Kerner right there. But yeah, right now, Mitchell Hunt just trying to hang on here. They're coming around to complete lap 23. Briar LaPrade takes the lead for the first time tonight.
And Briar LaPrade takes that lead. Kenny Brady back to second, going to try to run down LaPrade, who was running third to him just earlier with Agnell Phillip leading. He's right now currently sitting in the fourth spot. You're seeing a battle right now. That's Caden Rush in the 16. Gets crowded a little bit by, big crash down the back straightaway. One car around, up in front of the field. 2, 3 cars down off turn number 1. That's going to bring out our second caution flag here of the night. Looks to be Cody Harris, Tanner Love, Thomas Hazard in the 32 as well. And that all happened coming off turn number 1, David.
It's a nasty hit, and it starts in the middle of the field. Looks like our man with a very different plan, Mitchell Hunt, got involved as we see the instant replay. Cody Harris, brutal hit. Thomas Hazard, old Coke veteran. Looks like his run so far on the road to pro has not gone well this year. Another incident as we take another instant replay. The 32 machine of Hazard looks like while he tries to avoid it, he gets sent down low, and he gets that front end destroyed. Brutal hit for him. 28 almost gets tagged on the way there. He's another look with Tanner Love. Instant replay on the matter will show you he's got to back it down real slow. Cockpit cam, it's a smoke show. And he still gets hit. Almost. Wow. He actually avoided it. Nice job there.
Yeah, definitely not what a lot of these guys needed, especially at the back of the field there, just trying to stay out of the mess, try to fight their way back to the field. But, yeah, we're just getting to that part of the race. We've had one yellow, and now we've had another one. Now, is that going to continue to have a rash of yellows, or what is going to happen? I'm not sure what's going to happen. Cautions, precautions, you got that right, that's for sure. But, yeah, now we're on lap 25. We're getting close to the halfway point. Of course, we don't want to keep seeing this because we want to see a lot of green flag racing here. But keep seeing these yellows as we get close to the end of this race. These restarts are going to get even wilder than what we've been seeing so far.
And obviously, too, some guys, they want to have this race go green all the way to the end. They have long-run speed. Some guys have short-run speed. But most of these guys here tonight set up for that long-run speed. I don't think anybody really expected about 2 yellows here tonight, probably, David, considering the fact we're only 25 laps in, just shy of the halfway point. But so far, 2 wrecks so far. It's been an interesting one, to say the least. We've had some good racing throughout the entire field.
Certainly very competitive racing, but it looks like the aggression's coming out a bit earlier. I'll tell you this much, 25 laps, without that first yellow, which almost looked like a save, maybe we wouldn't have seen what we're seeing right now. Some drivers almost opting to go to pit road. They'll do the fake out maneuver. The song and dance remains the same. Your leaders, they're going to stay out in front, of course, as Briar LaPrade's got himself the edge 26 laps in. Almost halfway through this event, and it has been close quarters all throughout the field. The mid-pack maybe more so than anywhere else, but if we get a long run, now we see drivers up ahead, different names in the top 5. Kenny Brady, he's been there for a while. Brian Mercurio, he's already solidly inside the top 5 in points coming into tonight. Agnell Phillip, he's been able to recover. And Logan Helton, who has been silently very good this race so far. And Daniel Buttafuoco, who's climbed from 17th, he's in 6th right now. Your front runners, they're very well-known names in the iRacing community, but I don't think all of them are the favorites coming into tonight. Maybe they will be coming out.
And we'll just have to see. Obviously, just shy of the halfway point. Briar LaPrade is leading. Kenny Brady 2nd. Brian Mercurio 3rd. Phillip is 4th. Helton 5th. Daniel Buttafuoco 6th. Caden Rush 7th. Eddie Kerner in the 8th spot right now. Ray Alfala sits at 9th. And Matthew Zwack rounds out your top 10. I guess you consider that a mid-race top 10 report, as we're just shy of the halfway point. But Daniel, have you ever been in a situation like this where you just really want the race to just get that long green flag run, like maybe Kenny Brady, Briar LaPrade, Brian Mercurio one up at the front of the field, and you just get frustrated and it could ruin your strategy and just put you on an offset?
Absolutely. I know exactly where these guys are coming from as well, because I remember in this race last year, I didn't have the greatest qualifying effort. I made a lot of mistakes, even got it, unfortunately caused one of the yellows. But definitely, like when you're starting pretty deep in a pack, like maybe around outside the top 10, you definitely want a race to go along so you can try to make your setup work. If you got that long run speed, you can allow it to work. And unfortunately, for a lot of these guys in the middle of the pack, back of the pack, they can't keep having these short runs because it's really hard to go anywhere on these restarts. So these guys are going to have to work something out here. Hopefully, we can get some green flag racing, and we'll see how this race plays out.
Yeah, we'll have to see for sure. And the pace car lights are out. Field is going to double up here for what would be the 3rd restart zone of the night, obviously to start, and then earlier on after our first yellow, this will be the third. So Kenny Brady, Briar LaPrade will be that front row as everybody doubles up, heads into turn one. And we've seen a lot of single file racing here tonight, David. Drafting has played a huge factor, but like Dan said earlier, if you have a run and you know you got that opportunity, you best dang well take it, because it is grind time here in the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series. Only a handful of races to go after tonight's race. We go to Lucas Oil Raceway Park, also known as IRP, in a couple weeks on August 3rd for 120 laps. And you got 4 more tracks after that: Michigan, Milwaukee, Bristol Dirt, and Homestead, Miami. So every point matters here. Been stressing it all season long, David. That's what these guys are chasing here tonight.
And when we talk about the point standings, so snake splits, 20 drivers make it, but theoretically it will be 10 from each split. We're broadcasting the second right now, but when it comes to the skill level, at this point it's all just about equal. Your defending winner in this split on FTN, he's racing on the other split tonight, and as it stands, he's leading the way just over a quarter of the way through. That's Taylor Hurst. It looks like our winners have swapped, and now they're in different scenery, but they're still doing well. Buttafuoco has been charging up through the field, and I think he's one of the guys to watch right now. But Briar LaPrade, he has not surprised me, but he has impressed me. Made that move on pit road. He sees the yellow flags coming out. Cautions breed cautions. And now, as we come down to our second restart, he's looking to take it away again.
Well, coming down here into the Geico restart zone, third time of the night. Briar LaPrade puts it in gear, puts his pedal to the metal down the front straightaway. Green flag is out here on lap 28. Brady kind of ducks back in line as LaPrade heads back up to the top. He'll bring Brady alongside with him, with Mercurio side by side with Agnell Phillip. 3-4 wide. Going through turn number 1, Caden Rush in the middle with a few other guys. This is going to be hectic. We got a crash down the back straightaway, but they save it. That's amazing. 4, almost 5 wide as Briar LaPrade continues to lead the charge here into the tunnel turn.
These guys are getting crazy. 3-4 wide across this field, and we're going to be 4 wide the tunnel turn. No, watch out, guys. They're hanging on to it. I can't even tell where anyone's going right now. That's kind of the wind on the bottom. About to clear this whole pack. That's Tommy Gossett down on the inside in that number 3 blue and yellow Dale Earnhardt-inspired truck. And then you guys are still 3 wide coming off turn 3, guys.
Man, oh man, they're wrecking now. That's for sure. Way back in the field, we got ourselves a huge hit. Chris Peffer involved. 3rd yellow flag, and it comes to the halfway break. Just when we thought the improbable could happen, it looks like we've avoided the impossible. We're back down to earth here in Pocono. Let's get an instant replay.
And you can just see right here out of turn 3, the 66, also the 6th, Chris Pfeffer goes around and, we got 2 cars hard into the wall, rips off that 54's nose down. I believe that could be, if I'm not mistaken, the 54 machine. You see Ryan Hill, he was also involved in that. A few other guys as well. Kyle Peddle, I believe. Thomas Hazard. There he is in the 32 machine. Looked like the 66 just got a tag in the left rear, just went around right there. Dan, unfortunately, heading into 3.
Yeah, just so much action was going on here. Like I said, these restarts, we said these were going to get wilder, but I didn't expect anything like that. It was like, man, Kyle Peddle took a whale of a hit. And down to that inside wall, along with another truck down there in the 55, it looks like. But, yeah, a lot of people swept them in this one. And unfortunately, that's going to be a lot of nights ended there in that big wreck right there.
And you just see right here, Luke Knupp going through. Unfortunately, nowhere to go. He gets into the 6 machine of Christopher Pfeffer there off turn number 3. Here's a look from Chris. Just loose, put in the middle, 4-3 wide right there. Goes around and unfortunately collects a majority of the field here on lap 28, 27. And now we're on lap 29 out of 60. Still just 1 lap shy of halfway here, David.
I can't believe it. We just saw 3-4 wide racing, and it almost lasted for a lap there. Even the best drivers in the eNASCAR scene can't make something as insane as that happen for much longer. Most of the field is down to pit road, bar Briar LaPrade, and now we see drivers maybe going for that second set of tires, maybe going to top off fuel. We got another race on pit road here, and they're all coming in to the pit exit right now.
Yeah, and you see everybody right now coming out of their box, and it looks like it's going to be one of the blue and white trucks right there out of the pits, beating a majority of the field off the pit road line. I have to see who that is. It might have been Logan Helton. I believe it was. It was Logan Helton in the number 10 machine. And there he is right now coming out of the pits. Battle winner off pit road. Agnell Phillip came out second. Daniel Buttafuoco came out third. Caden Rush came out fourth. Kenny Brady came out fifth right there. Lost a few spots. Briar LaPrade elects to stay out on the racetrack here, as now we have reached the halfway point. When we go back green, we're going to have less than 30 laps to go here.
And I'm very intrigued to see how the strategy is going to work out for Briar here. I don't think he anticipated that many people, or should I say the entire field, coming down pit road there. So got to keep an eye out, see what's going to happen on this restart. But if I'm Briar, I don't really want to give up that track position. So just got to wait to see what happens on this restart. With Logan Helton, we got a new player up front. Logan Helton won the race up pit road there. He's going to line up on the front row here. And we also mentioned Daniel Buttafuoco last week, or 2 weeks ago at Mid-Ohio. He's been the biggest mover in this race from what I've seen. Started down 17th, is now broken the top 5.
Briar LaPrade currently leading. Logan Helton going to be challenging him up at the front, just as you said. So LaPrade, Helton, Phillip, Buttafuoco, Rush, your top 5. Brady, Kerner, Nichols, Mercurio, and Zwack, your top 10 right now. Biggest gainer on the racetrack currently is Matt Kempf, currently scheduled in there, or sitting in the 12th spot. He is plus 15 where he started from.
And it looks like we've got information more about that number 3 machine. LaPrade, your leader, fastest lap of the race. His speed, it is far from a fluke, and his strategy still working out, but it's risky. He's the only guy who stayed out on pit road, off of pit road that time by, and for a crowd of almost 100 viewers on FTN, our record as a channel, it has been fantastic so far. As the owner of the channel tonight, it's special to be here. I thank you all dearly for coming around. We'd love to hit the triple-digit marker for the first time as a network, and where better to do it with these phenomenal drivers putting on a great show in the Pocono Raceway. Means the world to have you all here. Stick around. Halfway down, halfway to go. I recently dropped a poll of who's going to be the winner of this race, so be sure to vote your favorites as we hit 99 concurrent viewers. Unbelievable numbers. We thank you all dearly, and the racing's going to get back to action here. Jason, Daniel, we've got ourselves a great crowd. How's it that we entertain them?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here. I mean, Briar LaPrade's been so fast all night long. And you have Caden Rush. He's starting to come up through the field. One of the most aggressive drivers on the sim by far. Had a few incidents with him myself. I know he's very fast. Tends to use that heated aggravation on the racetrack and usually drives very, very fast. He knows how to win races. There's a lot of guys, though, who could win this here tonight, steal one away from Briar LaPrade or any one of these drivers. But with that being said, yellow flag is about to come down. The green is about to come out. LaPrade, Helton, Phillip, Buttafuoco, Rush, Brady, your first 3 rows. And they're getting ready to come into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air this time by LaPrade. Shoots out of a cannon. 29 laps to go this time by as they race their way down the front straightaway, fanning out.
And as it stands, LaPrade able to get a good jump there. We got trouble.
We're going to the pack. Oh, and this is a big wreck, probably biggest wreck of the night so far. That is Hunter Gagan. Excuse me, cannot pronounce these last names here. But that was a big one heading down to turn number 1 there, David.
And another huge hit as we take an instant replay. Hunter Guillogan going to get caught up there, sent up high. Another driver goes around. It's just a heartbreaker again. And 32 laps in, a caution breeds a caution. Joseph Causey involved. Take a look at that number 30 machine. And as you can see, runs it right up the track. And another driver involved in the smoke show. Tough luck there, and it's another one caught up.
Hey, yeah, just another big mess here down to turn 1. We're going to get several onboard views here, but I don't know about you guys, but looks like we had a good green flag field to start out this race, and then all these last few restarts, man, they've been getting crazy. And this is, if you're someone here who's deep in points, deep in the field, trying to make up some positions, this is not what you want to keep happening. But you might be good if you're able to stay out of these wrecks, and you might have a great view of these wrecks too. But But if you're some of these drivers out here, it's getting really annoying to keep dealing with these yellows.
It for sure is, and obviously every point matters here in the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series. Remember, top 20 at the end of round 2 move on to the Contender Series to battle the bottom 20 in the points in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. From there on, they'll battle in the B car, also known as the Xfinity Series car, for anybody who is not familiar with the way that the iRacing licensing works. And then the top 20 from there will move on to the Coke to battle the top 20 guys from the Coke Series the previous year. So everybody chasing to get to that penultimate series here for the eNASCAR side of things. As you look at Logan Helton come around the racetrack right now behind Briar LaPrade. So everything's seeming to work out for LaPrade so far here, David, despite staying out, even though we did have a wreck right after he fired out of the restart zone.
And it looks like for LaPrade, his gamble's paying off even more. He's got himself the lead even still, and ever since he made it pay off on pit road, he's had it. Hasn't had to work all too much for it since then. Cautions have bred cautions, and it seems like we've been in a perpetual state of the yellow flag for about 15 laps from this point onward. The question really is going to be from here on out, do we see a race for the lead? Does a guy like Logan Helton get a shot? Agno Phillip, he's there too, Buttafuoco and Brady, and how about Zach Nichols, who's now up there in 6th, as we see Kenny Hump, Michael Venable, both on pit road, drivers still coming in, Mitchell Hunt, one of which, pit road is still occupied, damage is becoming major, but only 2 drivers are off the lead lap, being Kyle Peddle and Thomas Hazard.
All these guys here getting damaged. There's Ryan Hill right there, who also creamed into the inside wall along with Kyle Peddle in that last wreck. But if you're up here by the Pride, you're, like I said earlier, you must be rubbing your hands together, liking what you're seeing. He's probably the only one that's liking what he's seeing here out front, leading the field. Strategy's probably falling right into place. He's able to save a lot of fuel under these caution flags, which a lot of people, all those guys pit on that last yellow probably for sure know they can make it to the end on gas. But now at Briar, he ended up staying out there, but right now just falling right back into his wheelhouse. He's able to save the fuel, keep his tires intact. And eventually, if we keep having these yellows, keep having these heat cycles, everyone's tires are probably going to come back even together, and probably going to be sitting pretty here, if depending on how the rest of this race goes. As we're coming to 26 laps to go when they cross off stripe this time, Jason.
Yeah, and that's going to obviously look very, very good for Briar LaPrade, despite only pitting 1 time. So he still has a set of Goodyear Eagles sitting behind the pit road wall, behind in his pit box. So that is a thing to mention. And everybody else believe they all took 4 tires, so they have no sets left. So if Briar LaPrade deems to pit, he's going to be pretty much the only guy up at the front of the field here on fresh tires. So it's going to be interesting to see.
And as we come around this time by the caution laps, counting down the 60 overall that we have, 35 in, 26 to go, and we've lost quite a few to the yellows as is. Going through turn 1, Briar LaPrade's gamble has paid off. There's still Logan Helton right there with them. Agno Phillips 3rd, with Buttafuoco 4th, Kenny Brady 5th, and Zach Nichols in 6th. It's Caden Rush in 7th and Eddie Kerner in 9th, and it looks like now it's going to be Brian Mercurio in 9th. Eddie Kerner gets 1 spot up on him in 8th. Matthew Zwack rounds out the top 10, and I'm going to tell you this much, we'd love to get the green flag racing back, and with time running out, I think it's the perfect time to. What do we expect? Do we see more aggression, or do they lay back for once and let it go back to being peaceful like it was the first 15?
Now, David, I'd like to lean on these guys, maybe trying to calm down a little bit, but we're now into the second half of this race. These restarts, they're only going to get wilder, but I would like to see at least these guys get back to the start-finish line at least one more time, because we haven't been able to see that these last few restarts, but I've got confidence in these guys. We got to stop wrecking at one point, right? Or we're going to run out of trucks. But these guys coming around turn number 3, Briar LaPrade, Logan Helton on the front row. Logan Helton had a great run at Mid-Ohio right here on FTN LSR TV a couple weeks ago, trying to carry that same momentum here to Pocono with a good finish as the pace car is going to go off. Jason, we are headed back green.
Cars or trucks, I should say, heading into the Geico restart zone. LaPrade fires off like he's done the last couple times. He'll head down the front straightaway. Everybody else kind of fans out. Caden Rush jumps way up to the top. Oh, and one truck goes around hard up into the wall right there. I believe that was the number 7 or the 6 car. That's Noah Bitts. last week had some trouble, or a couple weeks ago had some trouble at Mid-Ohio, and unfortunately that will bring out another yellow here on this restart.
And Noah Bitts in more trouble that time by, and he's outside of the top 20 coming into this race. He went around alone there, and that still brings out your caution. We'll get an instant replay and show you because he just lost it there. Maybe he got some contact. As you see, he drives down. Brutal hit. Man, that's got a sting in more ways than one. And the front engine there, it's destroyed.
And, as I say, thank goodness for safe barriers as we get another look at this thing. Someone, we're going to need to look high above or something, get a good camera. I can't tell what truck that is, the blue and white truck. If we can get a close-up shot on that, but it's just like he just came down right there. I don't know, that looks to be the 54 of Matt Kemp. Yeah, I was trying to figure out. I didn't want to speak too soon, but just trying to get in the draft of Ray Alfalo, just trying to stay in the middle, and unfortunately Noah Bitts. Man, 2 weekends in a row, or 2 weeks in a row, Noah Bitts has had a rough one. He was having a good show in Mid-Ohio before issues followed him late in the race, and now Noah Bitts. If he wasn't in a hole before in the points, he's even deeper in a hole now as he creams hard in the inside wall.
Obviously, every point, every position mattering here, or matters, I should say, here for the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series. Briar LaPrade, though, continues to lead. He likes what he's seeing right now, obviously. Now, even though he's staying out on those old tires, he's still maybe going to have to pit eventually, but he can clutch just enough to save the tires. But if he were to have a green flag run and had to pit, I could expect these guys to not have as much wear on their tires either, considering, David, we haven't had many green flag laps since these guys put on their second set.
Maybe that second set wasn't worth it. I mean, it's hard to say that, of course, without hindsight, but we haven't seen any yellow flag run since about the lap 15 marker. It's lap 37. We've gone so many times under yellow consecutively. All the tires are cooled down, not much more wear on them. The grip levels are still high, which gives everyone an even playing field whenever we get the green flag laps back in order. This plays more in the favor of LaPrade. He gets more and more laps to keep his tires cool. They might be older, but they haven't been worn up much ever since he went down to pit road to begin with. Not good at all for any other driver. If LaPrade's really got the pace to pull away, fastest lap and all, he should be able to show it as soon as we get back to the full-on racing. We're not too far away from seeing that point. Hopefully, we should be able to break out this spell, this dry cycle of sorts, when we get to the green flag in about 2 laps' time.
Yeah, and we'll have to see here. Obviously, still pacing under yellow. Hopefully, we can get some green flag racing in. The strategy working out for Briar LaPrade. Agnell Phillip back in basically where he was almost. If he could just get one more spot. He did start on the pole here for tonight's race at Pocono. And then, obviously, Logan Helton had a very strong run a couple weeks ago here in Split 2 at Mid-Ohio. And then Kenny Brady, who's been right on Agnell Phillip and Briar LaPrade's heels all night long. 4th. Daniel Botafuco up 12 spots from where he started running in 5th. As you look at Christopher Pfeffer, he comes off pit road in that number 66 Sim Stamp number car, or truck, I should say, and off pit road, down out of 1, down the back straightaway. There's Ryan Hill, another one involved in some mishaps here tonight as well in the 55 machine. Seems like we've had a lot of guys in the back of the field here, David, who've had a lot of issues that just cannot catch a break.
And it's been tough, but one thing about these yellow flags is it's given drivers the opportunity to stay on the lead lap. As it stands, 30 of our 34 registered drivers are still with us on the lead lap. Noah Bitts is 2 laps down. Hunter Gohagan is in the 32nd spot, 4 down. Kyle Pettle is 10 laps down in 33rd. And Thomas Hazard is 14 laps down, dead last. So most of these drivers, as it stands, they're still technically in the running. And it looks like going down to 30th, we've got some clean machines, some guys just getting off pit road. It's a lot of different strategies now. These yellow flags have broken the field down, and now Briar LaPrade, he may stand alone, but there's many others who stand alone in their own way with their own strategies. Some guys have come in more early in this caution fest. Some guys have come in later. Some guys haven't come in at all since the first stint, and it's now a breaking point of sorts. When we get back to green, 21 laps to go. Hopefully we get back to the racing here. We'll see which strategy, when put to the test, is truly the best.
Now, I'm very curious to see, like, when we get some green flag, if we get back to some green flag laps, we have a nice, decent green flag run here. What are you going to do then? Do you try to stay out? Do you come and take tires? And if you take tires, how many tires do you take? Do some guys want to try 2 tires? Do you put on 4 tires? Like, there's so much left to unpack in this race if we get down to that point. Well, first, we got to get some green flag laps under our belt before we can figure all that stuff out. But I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm ready to see some more racing again.
Yeah, I'm ready to see some racing that's not under the yellow flag or behind the pace car, because I'm pretty sure the pace car has led more laps tonight than Briar LaPrade and Agnel Phillip have. But once this pace car comes down, one of those drivers is going to lead them to the green flag, that being Briar LaPrade in the number 19 machine. He'll lead them down through the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. 21 laps to go. Up on the scoring monitor, he'll get out to a jump, kind of try to come up the racetrack, heading down the front straightaway into 1 with Agnel Phillip getting a push from Brady. They're clean as they head into turn number 1.
Agnel Phillips got himself a nice shot through. He's there just behind your race leader, but Briar LaPrade stays up in front. Now he's going to have to put it to the test as they're still 3 and 4 down the stretch. It's multiple drivers in the mid-pack going at it. Logan Helton working now with Kenny Brady. Now they're 3 wide, middle. We're looking at the middle of the field. Brandon Pipgrass right now. Tommy Gossett right behind it. They're all fighting as hard as they can, but nobody's in the wall this time. It looks like we might be able to come down to the start-finish line before the yellow flag waves. Botafuco now just outside the leading conversation, and he'll stay in the draft as they come around this time through. LaPrade has the lead. Mid-pack is chasing, namely Alfala, Mercurio, and the like. The veterans are clawing back up front. They've still got a new trick in them. It looks like you can teach the older drivers a few new.
As Briar LaPrade doing the old snake down the front straightaway, trying to break any bit of draft he can, as he's going to lead once again off turn number 1. 20 laps to go here in Pocono. As we got another spin. Zach Nichols down in the back of the field there, who was running in P6, got spun out of line. Unfortunate run for Zach Nichols, who made his way into a great running position. He's going to be put to the back of the pack as we are under caution once again.
And Zach Nichols already down out there. Jason, can you give us a rundown?
It looks like right there, the 44 just gets tagged in the left rear coming off turn number 1. Going to have to see it maybe one more time. Yeah, unfortunately, just some contact. Kind of didn't hit the wall right there, but he just unfortunately starts to come down a little bit. Made some contact there with, I believe that's a number 98 machine. It is a purple truck. Unfortunately, some contacts. And Zach Nichols, that was Eddie Kerner in the number 19 machine, getting into his left rear quarter panel there. Eddie just comes up a little bit. Not a lot of room there for the 44, a little bit loose. And then Ray Alfala right behind it. He almost gets collected in that number 2 machine. So that was very close there, David, for Ray Alfala and the rest of the other drivers.
And that could have been much, much worse. Of course, still horrible to see another incident out, but thankfully it does not come back to bite the majority of the field. It's selfless in a way for what happened there to number 44. Not going back up the field, Zach Nichols saving a few drivers, but in the essence, of course, of this incident, he's the one who sacrifices himself. And with 19 laps to go, even fewer drivers have a chance to compete for the race victory. Briar LaPrade looking good out in front. Agnel Phillip, though, able to charge up the second with Logan Helton not too far behind.
Yeah, as we are back under the yellow flag once more, and really nothing has changed at the front of the field except for Zach Nichols now going to be at the back of the pack. But now, with 19 to go, it's just no. Well, we don't expect any of these guys to pit anymore. I don't think. I mean, with how many yellows we've had, I don't really expect anyone else to pit the rest of this race. It's just, I don't know. I'm running. I really don't know what to say anymore with the amount of yellows, because it's just like the same song, second verse, pretty much.
Yeah, obviously it has been a caution-filled race. Had a little bit of a green flag stretch earlier on in this race. Then one truck went around in front of the field, caused a wreck, and then ever since then, it's just been caution after caution after caution, etc. Unfortunately, and with 19 laps to go, David, I think Briar LaPrade, that strategy, it's looking real nice right now for that number 3 machine.
He might just have a chance to go all the way. Chris Peffer down the pit road this time by as we watch the drivers who come in to continue fixing damage. Kenny Hump, Joseph Causey still there. So drivers are coming down there. Zach Nichols back on his way. But for Briar LaPrade, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He hit the jackpot on his strategy. He has not been contested ever since he took that lead. And it's been over 20 laps since that point. He's had it, and he has not had to fight for it all too much. That's the closest anyone else has gotten. And still coming through, Briar LaPrade's got himself that lead. Second place, Zagnall Phillip. And it looks like from there on out, we've got Kenny Brady in fourth. It's Logan Helton one spot ahead there in third. And Daniel Buttafuoco is in position number 5. Thank y'all for watching so far. We got an incredible crowd, over 100 people watching. That's the all-time FTN high. Unbelievable. We got fans still coming in right now. We got guys like Nate Stewart, Nathan Jorgensen, Jared Sherrill, Maizu, River Page, and even more coming through. We thank y'all dearly. If your favorite driver is still in this race, be sure to shout them out in the chat room. We're taking all the shout outs for drivers. They'd love to see it. I'm certain of that. And as we come around this time by, I'm sure they'd love to see one more thing even more. The green flag all the way. And with this coming now to be 1 lap to green once again, it will be 16 laps to go when we get back to the racing. Dan, we're running out of time here. You raced in this event before. How dicey does it get when time is of the essence and laps are counting down?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this race last year, we did not have this many yellow flags in this race. I remember last year in the split I was in. We had a green flag pit stop in, and then we thought it was going to be all set and set right at the end of the race, and then we had that late race yellow where I think it set up a green-white checkered, if I remember off the top of my head. So right now, we're getting a preview of what this GWC is going to look like, because at this rate, if these guys keep wrecking like they do every lap, I think we're probably going to be seeing a green-white checkered, and we might be using all 3 of them at this rate. But who knows? These guys might eventually figure it out. But I get it. Everyone, you have to be aggressive. You got to get these positions while you can, because it is so hard to pass with the dirty air and how important the draft is. Like, if you try to make a move and it don't work out, you're going to lose a ton of spots. So I fully understand where these guys are coming from. I was in this spot last year, and it's very difficult to try to process like what moves you want to make and how well you're going to make them, and hopefully try not to have any contact, which I unfortunately had my fair share of contact in this race here last year. So definitely not putting myself out there.
Yeah, and obviously,
my apologies there. You're back. Great to see you.
Obviously, too. Split 1 right now. They have not really had a full green flag race either. They've had some yellows here and there. Currently, Friese leading the way over Andrew Navarro, Seth the Merchant, Taylor Hurst, who won a couple weeks ago at Mid-Ohio in split number 2, and then Daniel Eberhardt currently 5th right now. So that's split number 1. They have 12 laps to go. Meanwhile, over here on the FTN side of things, 17 laps to go here as they're getting ready to come into turn 3. And Briar LaPrade liking the strategy, every bit of it, every single lap, every time he sees a caution, just has more and more of a chance with the less laps remaining that he has here. But this time by LaPrade, Phillip, Helton, Brady, Buttafuoco, Kerner, your front top 3 rows. Pace car stands going to look to come down pit road this time by hitting the pit road commitment line. Green flags back out in the air. Briar LaPrade shoots out of the cannon like he's done all night long, and the field scrambling behind them to try to figure out where they want to run. Brady pushing Phillip in the middle, 3, 4 wide down the front straightaway heading into 1.
It's about as antsy as it can get once again. Time's running out, and the aggression just has to keep rising to change with the times. They're 3 wide right now. Brian Mercurio up high. Looks like Kyler Wynn going to be able to slot in. And right now, the top 10 guys are really packed in, except for Briar LaPrade. Now it looks like Agnew Phillips on the high side. He's got trouble in the terms, of course, of a driver. You've got that competition there. It's going to be tough to deal with. Logan puts himself down low. Kenny Brady there as well. Top 3 drivers are all fighting hard right now, but LaPrade is able to pull away just a bit more than anyone else. Take a look at that gap. Number 10 Machine Helton just has to fight to stay in it, but your leader is fighting to stay out of it.
And that is a huge lead for Brian LaPrade. He had a great restart while all these guys were battling side by side, killing each other's runs as Brian LaPrade leads back down to turn one with probably about a second lead now. 7/10, I should say, to be more precise. As we got our first side-by-side battle for the fourth position with Daniel Buttafuoco and Logan Helton. Buttafuoco is going to clear that position. And here comes Ray Alfaro behind Buttafuoco, trying to take that top 5 spot away from Logan Helton.
Buttafuoco going to give a little bit of a push there in front of him to Kenny Brady. You had Ray Alfaro back behind him. He gave him a shove. They get single filed out. Caden Rush into the wall there out of the tunnel turn. As Helton, you ride on board with him from the driver's point of view. He'll ride right there underneath that yellow line, get him on the rumble strips with the left sides, trying to chase after Ray Alfaro. This time by at the line. 14 laps to go here in race number 2 of round 2 for the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series.
And right now, your leader is checking out. He's trying to pack his bags and head on to the next race of the schedule. That's going to be Indianapolis Raceway Park. He's looking to go short tracking after this win as a celebratory gesture, but the rest of these drivers are not giving up. Logan Helton right now cruising right now behind Ray Alfaro, and the Alfaro machine able to get himself in the top 5. This is major point recovery night for him. He comes in tonight 50th in the championship standings. And right now, he looks to be good to advance himself at least 10 spots on the playoff ladder board to play in to the Contender Series. Looking at Brandon Pipgrass right now. He's now single file, but just behind him, they're side by side. It looks like that's going to involve the Jackson Crowder machine, and they're side by side with a big wiggle down low, taking every lane they can to keep the battle moving.
Spencer Kostowitz, as we were looking at right here, had a great race at Mid-Ohio, but unfortunately led the whole race until the last lap when lap traffic cost him the win that led Daniel Buttafuoco to get the victory. Trying to bounce back here this week, and right now, running around mid-pack here, a few spots right outside the top 10. Trying to get all he can get right here to try to make up their last week's, or our winner from 2 weeks ago, Daniel Buttafuoco, running in P4. See if he can get another podium and get a second straight podium here in round 2 as, gets close to the wall right there. But it's all clean and green as we're heading down to turn 3, and we are coming to 12 laps to go this time by.
12 laps to go indeed. This time by when they hit the line, Brian LaPrade out front by just over 0.5 of a second. Make that half a second, if not more now, to Agnell Phillip and Kenny Brady as Buttafuoco tried to make a little bit of a run at Brady there, and he's going to look to the inside of Brady down the front straightaway. They're going to be side by side into one. Buttafuoco uses that advantage, and Agnell Phillip slides right across the 13's bumper, takes the air away, and him and Brady are going to be side by side once again with Ray Alfaro waiting in the wings here as they head into the tunnel turn.
I'll tell you this much, using aerodynamics as defense is like being passive-aggressive with a race truck. And now Daniel Buttafuoco, having none of it, tries to lunge through on Kenny Brady. They're door-to-door here. There's nothing that can be put between them, and Alfaro gives a send into Brady. Down low, Buttafuoco using turn 3's apex perfectly gets the advantage, but Kenny Brady tries to cross him over, quarter panel tap, and almost into the wall. Buttafuoco's not having it. He'll block down low to Ray Alfaro. Kenny Brady's right there too. It's now going to be old 4-time defending himself, and also Daniel Buttafuoco defending his position. Now, Daniel Buttafuoco's on the charge from 17th on the grid. He's in 3rd right now, and he is now with a head full of steam. That time by only 0.3 of a second slower than your leader. He might be quick enough to catch Agnell in due time. Maybe it's a pipe dream the leader is right now, but anything can happen. It ain't over till it's over, in the famous words of Yogi Berra.
Kenny Brady, definitely the biggest loser in that sequence there from Buttafuoco, Ray Alfaro, and Logan Helton all passing by him. Falls from 3rd to 6th in that little sequence, but gets back in line. So far, so good. As we're looking back deeper through the field, that's Kyler Wynn, balanced side by side with Caden Rush. Kyler Wynn, the biggest mover in this race, started 31st, up into the top 10 plus 21 positions, but is about to be plus 20 in 11 plays if Caden Rush completes this pass right here, side by side down the straightaway as now we look up for P6. Eddie Kerner, Kenny Brady about to drop another spot. Here goes Eddie Kerner, drives it down to the apex, clears Kenny Brady, gets a little bump, nearly into the wall, keeps it out of the wall. That was not good for Eddie Kerner. He's going to lose a whole lot of momentum here.
Unfortunately, Kenny Brady tried to do the crossover, made some contact with Kerner into the left rear, sent him tapping the outside wall out of turn number 1. Briar LaPrade, though, liking every bit of racing back behind him, because what he's got in front of him is a clean racetrack, clean air, meaning so much here from the tricky triangle. And Agnell Phillip, Daniel Buttafuoco back by just 0.8, now 0.9 of a second as they work their way down, put us into the single-digit laps remaining up on the board. 9 laps to go. Briar LaPrade, which looked to be a questionable call early on before all the yellows started happening, it's looking pretty good for that number 3 machine as he heads into 1.
He has hit the jackpot, and it's even more evident now. The single digits, 9 laps to go here on FTN, and Briar LaPrade has an 0.8 of a second advantage over Agnell Phillip. But Phillip is losing ground. Daniel Buttafuoco, Ray Alfala, they're coming quick, and now it's going to be a multi-car battle for the runner-up spot, and I think Buttafuoco is overall the fastest driver on the track, and it is showing. He's now just about a second away from the leader, too. The only thing withstanding him getting to that leading man, it is Agnell. That is the only roadblock in his way, and he's going to have to make that number 9 machine quick work if he wants a chance to go back-to-back here in the eNASCAR Road to Pro Tour.
Buttafuoco, he looked really strong early on that first green flag run, started 17th, and he worked his way up to the top 10 in that first run before that first yellow with Chris Pfeffer. And now he's in the podium places, and honestly, I bet if he can clear Agnell Phillip here, I think he's got a good chance to maybe go run down Briar, but the problem is he's running out of laps. Now, if we get a caution flag, well, that's going to bring everyone together. Will that be his best shot to catch the 19 machine or the number 3 machine in sim, but number 19 on your screen? As they come through the tunnel turn, Agnell Phillip continues to lead Daniel Buttafuoco through the tunnel turn. Buttafuoco feels like he is faster. He's asking Agnell if he can have the position to maybe go catch the 19 machine, but right now Agnell ain't having any of it as they're going through turn 3. Come back to the start-finish line. It's going to be 7 more circuits around the tricky triangle.
The gap is not closing anymore for Agnell Phillip. The gap still almost 0.9 of a second. 7 laps to go right now. This time by the line in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Briar LaPrade does the old snake trick down the front straightaway. He'll go from top to bottom into 1 and 2 right now. Still one of the fastest cars on the racetrack out of all the leaders inside the top 10 despite having no draft. So this could be a day for Briar LaPrade to remember due to a nice gamble, a strategy call that might be able to just get him another win here in the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series.
And when you speak of speed, last time by, LaPrade was 0.9 of a second faster than Daniel Buttafuoco, and as you mentioned, he does not have any draft to worry about right now, and I say worry about because if he did have draft, it would be a lap machine. Coming up on Thomas Hazard on the front stretch, there are lappers that would play into the effect of this race, make it a total of only 6 laps to go. This time by, LaPrade leads the swooping field all the way down low and up again. Aerodynamics are the big thing right now. All the field is spaced out, but the drivers up front, they want to take their pick for the win. Buttafuoco still there on Agnell Phillip. Ray Alfala looking to show that old championship prowess and make a move as well. They're all coming through at the same time. Helton's still in it. Kenny Brady still just in touch. But I think right now, if anyone's going to get by Agnell, it would be Buttafuoco and his JDR graphics machine.
Absolutely, and we talked about Ray Alfala there in the 4th position. Had a very disappointing run 2 weeks ago. We had Mid-Ohio on the road course, and right now trying to get back to his usual form out here on the oval, so triangle, as we say this week. But definitely running in P4 right there as Buttafuoco is looking to the inside of Agnell Phillip. He's going to get to the inside. He's going to try to side drive him down the front straightaway. He's going to get away from him, trying to make that pass for P2. And if he can make that pass for P2, can he go at LaPrade? Agnell Phillip's going to let off the gas, let him go. Buttafuoco put him into P2. The chase is on over the next 5 laps.
Briar LaPrade did not want to see that because Buttafuoco gained about 0.2 of a second just a couple laps ago. And in fact, the last couple laps, Buttafuoco, despite having draft fastest car out of those top 3 bunch, now he sets his sights on the leader holding the field behind him at bay. That's Agnell Phillip, Ray Alfala, Logan Helton, Kenny Brady right there waiting in the wings to try to pick up some more spots, more points if you could add to it. Coming this time by, 4 laps to go. We'll have to see what the time difference is this time by around. But LaPrade still leading by just about 0.8 of a second. 4 laps to go in the Pocono Mountains.
Time is running out for anyone else to get through, but it looks like Daniel Buttafuoco did exactly what he needed to do if he wants any opportunity to come home with this win. He got by Agno Phillip, made that pass. That is crucial. Now he's got to do his own digging and make it work from here on out. That number 8 machine, the only driver right there with your current race leader, nothing separating them. He's just going to have to put the power down and take it from here if he wants any chance at getting the win for himself. Odds are it's maybe a little of a time squeeze, but this number 8 machine has made it work in the last second before. Who's to say he won't do it again as Alfala now goes up and over, getting that 3rd spot in Agno Phillip.
Yeah, Alfala's going to try to clear Agno Phillip, puts a little slide job on him, makes the pass work. Ray Alfala up into the podium places. Agno Phillip drops to P4. And we got more battling as Matthews White is going after Kenny Brady for P6, if I'm not mistaken. And he's going to get by Kenny Brady, lets him have the spot as they go back to turn 1. And we look at Daniel Buttafuoco continuing the charge, was about half a tenth faster, or about 600 faster than LaPrade that time. But he's going to need a whole lot more if he's going to go catch that 19 machine. He might need a yellow, but at this point, I'd be happy taking the points and bring home this great finish. Probably will come out as the points leader when it's all said and done. Going through the tunnel turn as they head back to turn number 3. 2 more circuits, 5 more miles around the Pocono Triangle when they come back around this time, bar any yellow flags.
And Daniel Buttafuoco going to try to throw everything, even the kitchen sink, at LaPrade this time by 2 laps to go on the board. It's getting a little bit closer, still 0.7 of a second this time by at the line. Buttafuoco's got a little bit of draft in tow behind LaPrade, but LaPrade loving what he's seeing right now. But the one thing he would not love to see is the yellow flag being waved possibly here as he heads into 1.
And now it looks like the only thing that would stop our current race leader is indeed that caution that you mentioned. Doesn't look like we're going to get it at the moment. He just has to hold on to what he's got. Keep that car under you right now. That's the big thing for your current race leader. He just has to make sure that truck comes home at the end of the day. Coming through the tunnel turn. That time by, he's only got 1 more trip around it, and then the race is over. LaPrade knows what's at stake here. This could all but lock him into contender, and for an ex-Coke driver, someone who has been of this winning caliber before, he'd love to show these guys he's still got it again.
Oh my
Flags out!
Talk about it.
Goodness.
Last corner before to take the white flag. Saw some shuffling on the SDK Gaming timing and scoring, and there it is. Spencer Kostowitz. Unfortunately, the heartbreak continues. Couple weeks ago, leading at Mid-Ohio on the last lap. Traffic gets in the way, and there he is, outside retaining wall, out of the tunnel turn. Going to rewind it back. You see him right here on the inside, battling with that number 3, Ryko Dale Jr. 2010 Daytona throwback. Just not enough space right there. And unfortunately, David, the 98 machine looks like he's going to be out of this one here with just 2 laps to go.
And this changes the race now. It might not be Briar LaPrade's to win. I'm not quite sure what we're going to get out of this one. And it looks like everyone's back in it. How's about Buttafuoco? I mean, Ray Alfala, Helton, all of these drivers who were putting together strong runs, yes, but they weren't able to make that time back. Now it's a level playing field, and the opportunity, it is an ample opportunity, and maybe we'll see yet another driver push as hard as they can up front. The Rex might come to the top 10 guys now. 2-lap shootouts, and the race from here on out is all in the hands of your front runners.
And now we see who comes for tires, who stays out. That is to be seen. Let's see what happens. They are coming to the pit entry right here. Brian LaPrade, he's only pitted once this race. I presume he's going to come, and he's going to, he's thought about staying out, but every single person is coming in, except a few guys near the back of the pack are staying out. I believe that was James Wetzel staying out and a few others, but everyone, they think tires is going to be the big winner here, and I have to say I can't disagree with them.
And this is going to shake up everything, having 5 trucks stay out. Pfeffer, Wenzel, Hill, Nupp, Venable, all staying out. Drivers who mainly started mid to back of the pack. So this is going to be interesting. But the thing is here, who's going to come out on top? Off pit road right here. Off pit road. And it looks like it's going to be Daniel Buttafuoco. 2 tires is the right call. Lots of guys scrambling. And oh my goodness, Buttafuoco might have just set himself up to go after this win.
And it could be Buttafuoco who gets it done. Dan, sorry for cutting you off there. You're the driver here. Do you think this is the right call?
Don't worry, Dave. You're all good. But I would definitely think, hey, you're the first guy on tires. You go track position. If you put in the right adjustments that will handle 2 tires on this restart here, I'd say it's a good choice as anybody. I believe Riley Pratt, first truck out on 4 tires. He's going to be restarting well outside the top 10 here. But by my count, it looks like 5, 6 trucks have stayed out here. Buttafuoco's going to restart in P7. So I'd say Daniel Buttafuoco's in a great place here. And we ran a good amount of laps on those tires right there. So I would say Chris Pfeffer, he was involved in the first caution, and now he's up front with new life given to him. Could he pull off an upset victory here?
And we're going to have to see, obviously, 5 trucks staying out. Buttafuoco taking them 2 tires. This could be a disaster in split 1. Heading back to that right now, they're going to be going into another green-white checkered attempt. Massive wreck at a turn number 3 right there. Lots of guys involved. And you see the 32 machine. He comes into the pits this time. But I believe that was one of the leaders. I believe not too sure on pit road. It ended up being Tanner Love in the 34 machine there coming in. He's down pit road. So this is interesting. We have 2 splits, 2 green-white checkered attempts here. First for us here on FTN for split 2. It's going to be green-white checkered number 2 in split 1. But this could play out big here, David, for Pfeffer, Wenzel, Hill, Venable, Nupp, or anybody else back out through the field.
As we take a replay one final time, it's a heartbreaker coming off the final turn. LaPrade must have thought he had that thing locked up, and now he's going to have to think about what the next move is. We're running a poll in the chat right now, and it looks like as it stands, 80% of our fans say we will see another green-white checkered finish in the near future. If we don't, the race will end if we get to the white flag. The white flag signals the race is official. Anything before then, and we will be allowed to take 2 more green-white checkered attempts to finish this race off. And on my end, Daniel Buttafuoco not connected to the server. That might be me glitching out. Looks like it is. He's back there. No worries. He's looking to contend. Briar LaPrade mired back even further. I think of all those who are up there to begin with and stay there throughout the race, that number 13 machine of Daniel Buttafuoco has got the best chance to go all the way and make it a victory.
Yep, that's true. Here we go. We're going to see Chris Pfeffer, James Wenzel right now heading through into turn number 3. First, green-white checkered attempt. I believe there is 3 attempts if we need them. Next flag ends the race. If they do get to the white flag, or actually they will race back to the checkered. But here we go. Pfeffer, Wenzel, front row. Who's going to take this home into the Geico restart zone? Pfeffer launches, shot out of a cannon. We're racing 2 laps to go in Pocono.
And they're wrecking in the back already.
And that's another wreck. Yellow flags out. We're going to go to second overtime.
That's Agnell Phillips spun back there, starting on the pole, having a great race. And he's unfortunately going to, I don't know how he ended up back there. I don't know if he decided to take tires unless he had a penalty, or no, never mind. He was mixed right in the field, and just Kenny Brady trying to go for a hole up the middle. It was open right there, but I think he might have went down a little too much. Just caught Agnell Phillip right in the right rear as we ride on board with Agnell Phillip here. Yeah, he just minded his own business, and the next thing you know is he's going around on the front straightaway as we are under caution once again. And I think I saw Jackson Crowder also back there in the number 54 machine you see on your screen. But yeah, Kenny Brady just trying to go for a hole at the middle. Went a little too much to the left. Just caught Agnell Phillip barely in the right rear. And we are under caution to get ready to go to overtime number 2, David.
And just like that, we're going to have to suspend our excitement and anticipation. Another set of pace laps, and it looks like the majority of the field stays the same. Chris Peffer got a great jump there, and I can't believe it's Peffer who's up in front leading this race. That number 6 machine has taken the trials and tribulations of a race and multiplied the average by just about 10. I can't believe after the wrecks, the incidents he's been in, he's found himself in the wall, spinning, involved with other trucks. Now he's there leading, and he's got a good chance. I mean, James Wenzel, he's got Ryan Hill, he's got Luke Knupp, and they're all protecting him from the wrath of Buttafuoco. However, Daniel is in 5th right now. He's still closer than any other driver in a new set to those leaders. If anyone breaks through that barrier, it could be Buttafuoco, but 2 laps to get through 5 trucks at this level of competition, easier said than done. I'm pretty sure we can all assume that for the very least.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. Obviously, Chris Pfeffer still leading this race in that number 6 machine as he continues to pace around here. So we're going to get our second attempt here at a green-white checkered finish, also known as overtime. James Wenzel, Ryan Hill, Luke Knupp also up there inside the top 4. Michael Venable, he has kind of fallen back just a little bit from where he started. So Daniel was able to pick up a spot there on that restart. This is going to enable him to restart on the bottom side. So if he has a run, he's going to be able to grip that bottom side a lot better than those guys on those older tires per se. But, you know, with 2 laps to go, you're not going to have a lot of time, and anything can happen. You might see the leaders get into it. You can see Daniel wreck. You can see the back of the field wreck. Who knows right here? It's only a matter of time, and they're catching the pace car right now, and I guarantee you the anxiety is rising inside of every one of these sim drivers right now, knowing that they're only going to have 2 more chances, if necessary, to get to the end of this race, pick up some points to move towards that contender series.
And I must say, I want to give a little update of the other split. I know our good friend Terry Radford loves to give up an update to split 1. We'll hope you're doing well tonight, Terry. We'll hope to see you again in 2 weeks' time at IRP. But split 1, they ended up having overtime restarts too, and they've watered it up about twice now. They've had a big wreck on one of the restarts, and then they've just had another yellow getting ready to go to another overtime. I don't know what it is, man, but tonight here in the Pocono Mountains, we're getting our entertainment's worth, which is very unfortunate for all the drivers who have put in so much work over these last few weeks trying to make it to this point, and for it all to get all washed away with all these kind of restarts. That's the one thing you hate as a driver and as a team. I remember going through all this last year, like I mentioned, just all the amount of work and all the stuff you managed to put in for these races, for it to all just done for nothing when you get involved in these wrecks and you get involved in these late race restarts and stuff, which is very unfortunate. But that's just unfortunate how it works now these days.
It's a bit of a Pocono fever. Looks like everyone's caught up in the sickness here as they come around one final time. Yellow flag will get intervals on your screen momentarily. This could be the final string of 2 laps. If not, it could be another yellow flag that sends us in all the way. Worst case scenario, we end under yellow. I'm sure Chris Peffer, whether or not we end like that, he'd love to get this win. It's going to boost him and boost him big. Coming into the night, he's 17th in points, 12 back on your leader, but only about 2 points up on the cut line. Not only are you racing the people in the split you're in tonight, you're technically racing the other people fighting for positions in the other split. Points are weighed equally. So if you finish, let's say 3rd in this split, it's equivalent sort of to a 6th place overall, because you got 2 sets of drivers first, 2 sets of drivers second, and then 2 sets of drivers third. So right now, a top 5 is the best way to go for most drivers. Only one can get that victory though, and right now, Chris Peffer's got a chance to go all the way.
And we're going to have to see right here with Chris Peffer going to be on the front row trying to hold off what could be Daniel Buttafuoco being the race winner if all plays into his wheelhouse here. Cards are laid out on the table by every driver. They're ready to do it again for 2 more laps and another time if necessary. Here we go. It's Pfeffer, Wenzel, Hill, Knupp, Buttafuoco, your top 5 with Michael Venable up on the outside in row number 3. What could have been a night for Briar LaPrade. It still can be, depending on the front of the field and what happens. But Daniel trying to steal one away. But the other guys who stayed out are trying as well. Green flags back out in the air. The field shuffling down the front straightaway. Pfeffer gets out to a marginal lead here as they all shuffle out down into turn number 1.
Rewind once again going through turn number 1. Buttafuoco drives it deep. He's got himself multiple spots made as they go 4. One driver rides high and takes another set of spots. I believe Buttafuoco's now got company in the aggression category. And right next to James Wenzel is going to be Michael Venable, who went up the top side and now finds himself up front. It's a 4-truck race. Yellow flag is going to come out and we'll head to third overtime.
Caution is back on the speedway once again, as we'll get another view of what happened. That is Ryan Hill, who restarted third on that restart, trying to stay out and hope it was going to fall his way. And unfortunately, it's going to be an early end of the night for Ryan Hill. And his rear end his truck is decklit up in the catch fence, as we hopefully can get a better angle of this here. There's just 4 wide, tight 4 wide racing, and just gets hooked into the outside wall. Just really nothing he could have done there. That was just everyone getting every inch they can, every inch of room. That looked like Matthew Zwack, Hayden Rush, Brian Pratt underneath them. And then that was the 11 truck down on the outside. Can't quite make out who that is. Trying to figure out who that is there on the outside. But believe that. No, that's Matt Kemp out behind Ryan Hill. Trying to see who that green truck is on the outside. These numbers don't line up correctly with our current scoring monitor and all that. But just unfortunate end of the night there for Ryan Hill. Just tight 4 wide moves right there, and just unfortunately just didn't work right there.
It's unfortunate, too. Ryan Hill right there. You saw him battling mid-pack, was in there for about a top 10 position, hard up into the wall. That's going to be the end of his night in that number 55 Chevy Silverado. His night comes to an end. But look at this right now up at the front. Daniel Buttafuoco has moved into the 4th spot, picked up a couple that last restart. Briar LaPrade currently sitting in 8th, so he's going to have a lot of work to do on this final attempt at a green-white checkered. David, do we see Chris Pfeffer possibly hold off the field despite being our first caution of the night?
It's an underdog story to say the least, but the way things have gone, I wouldn't count Pfeffer out. It looks like now the wrecks are becoming a bit more prevalent and drivers are going as hard as they can, going for broke. And right now, 2 yellow flags down. I wouldn't be shocked to see another, but I'm sure nobody wants to end under caution. Now the goal is just to make 1 green flag lap. Hopefully, we can do that and see this race end with a complete finish. It's gone 67 laps so far to become 68. This race has been extended to the maximum. How's about we get a split 1 update here if we got one?
Yes, I got a split 1 update right now. They have just gone green for, I believe, the final overtime. And right now they're cleaning green right now. Someone just got wrecked off of turn number 1. That might be not at the end of the race. Andrew Navarro is going to come out on top of that one. So he was one of the guys that stayed out, and looks like he's going to come out on top for his first victory of round number 2. So is that going to happen over here in split 2 as well? Well, that is wait to be seen as we are getting ready for our final green-white checkered here. But our congratulations to Andrew Navarro for the win in split 1, and for split 2, that's yet to be decided.
Andrew Navarro been super fast all year long here in the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series, and obviously was mired a little bit back in the points, so that's going to be good for him with another win tallied there to his Road to Pro record. But obviously, too, you see all the carnage, all the great hard racing we've seen going on. Split 1 just ended, and obviously that makes you want to follow up more if you want to continue to follow in here on the eNASCAR and iRacing side of things. So if you want to get the latest iRacing and eNASCAR news, you can scan the QR code right now. About to pop up on your screen to sign up for the eNASCAR newsletter to get all the latest updates and offers. And if you like what you're seeing from Pocono tonight, despite all the carnage, the hard racing we've had, and you have an interest in starting your sim racing career, you can go to iRacing.com right now and sign up for 40% off if you're a new member. So what are you waiting for? Go to iRacing.com today to check out the sim racing world that you see here tonight on FTN. Well, boys, a lot of cautions here tonight. We're going to probably get the one to go this time by. A lot of guys up here who we haven't seen most of the night. And one guy who continuously kind of starts to claw his way back up into the top 5. He's only up 2 spots from where he started. He was about mid-pack at one point. He's clawed his way up. That's Caden Rush in that number 6 machine. He looks to be really strong, 16 on the scoring pylon. We might be able to see something from Caden Rush here. Usually he's been struggling recently. Usually always a fast driver, but it's good to see him up there running inside the top 10.
And now drivers making their final charge up. Caden Rush, one of which interval is set to go back on your screen in just a moment. They will tell the story from here on out. It's been mostly stable for the guys up ahead. Chris Pfeffer now leading the way. He's got himself company in James Wenzel, then Michael Venable, and finally Daniel Buttafuoco. It is a star-studded field up ahead. Ryan Hill's blowing a motor at the moment. It looks like he'll try to limp it around to the final lap of this race. Odds are he won't make it. We will see whether or not he's able to get that done, though. It's going to be tricky all the way, as right now, the number 6 machine just hoping to finish this one off. In our 2 green-white checkered attempts beforehand, nobody's gotten by him, and now the field is at the mercy of any driver. It doesn't matter if you're in the front, if you are in the rear. Any wreck will send us home and send us packing to Indianapolis. So how about it? Let's get ready. Pack your bags. We're almost off to Indy, but let's finish it off with one final dash. 2 laps, 1 winner here in Pocono.
We're going to have to see right here. Chris Pfeffer might be saving a little bit of fuel, knowing he could have something of a miss, but maybe just coasting around. We're going to have to see right here. Final attempt at overtime. Next flag ends the race, whether it be the caution or the checkered. Green flag is in the air. We're back underway. Who's going to win in Pocono? Chris Pfeffer gets out to a race lead over James Wenzel and Buttafuoco behind him.
As they make their way down turn 1, Daniel Buttafuoco from 4th on the outside, goes to the inside of turn 1, inside of James Wenzel, clears James Wenzel, and the door is wide open for him to possibly take this race victory. He gets in the slipstream of Chris Pfeffer, and where's he going to go? He's going to go to the outside of Chris Pfeffer, down the long pond straightaway. Is he going to clear Pfeffer when they get to the tunnel turn? It looks like he is. Gets a shove from James Wenzel. Daniel Buttafuoco to the race lead as they are covering the white flag this time. But here comes Brian LaPrade on those 4 fresh tires compared to Buttafuoco's 2. Let's see what happens when they get to turn number 3. Jason, they are coming to the white this time by. Are we going to make it?
Coming to the white flag this time by. Daniel Buttafuoco is going to see it. Meanwhile, the field scrambling back behind him for every single position here tonight. Buttafuoco all the way down to the apron, trying to get away from the guy he's been chasing all night long, and he has almost caught him with the white flag in the air here on eNASCAR Night in America. Brian LaPrade trying to tally up another eNASCAR Road to Pro victory this season. He's closed the gap in down the long pond straightaway here for the final time. Buttafuoco tries to break the draft, almost pulls the Ryan Blaney, bringing him all the way down to the apron through the tunnel turn for the final time. Buttafuoco trying to hold him off. He's sideways out of the tunnel turn. Brian LaPrade outside. They're going to be door handle to door handle for the final time. Entering turn number 3. Door banging all the way to the line, and Buttafuoco comes up. He makes contact. They're up and into the wall. Brian LaPrade able to clear. Brian LaPrade wins in Pocono. Wow, what a finish.
What a finish indeed. Brian LaPrade as they're all wrecking behind. Brian LaPrade on those 4 fresh tires. They finally came through for him compared to Buttafuoco's 2 tires. It was almost 2 for 2 for Daniel Buttafuoco. But Brian LaPrade, he finally didn't get the cautions. He did need the yellows at the end, but he finally got that last restart. It worked out of his way. It was great racing coming to the tunnel turn. Buttafuoco unfortunately got loose. He did all good to hang on, but tonight Brian LaPrade, just like he did in Las Vegas back in round 1, wins in the 2nd round.
It was a daring maneuver up to the top of the board. Brian LaPrade comes home as a race winner. Intervals are not yet ready. The final drivers on the lead lap are still coming around. Intervals should be with us in just a moment. Nevertheless, your top 10 on your screen. It is LaPrade, your winner. and I think we're getting them all loaded up as it stands. Jason, let's get through your race results.
Yeah, and obviously, what a hectic finish and what a win for Mr. Briar LaPrade there in the number 3. He'll come home P1. Daniel Buttafuoco, you see him there in second. Caden Rush, talked about him making a charge. He'll finish up in the podium position, finishing in P3. Logan Helton, nice solid run tonight. Ray Alfala comes home P5. James Wenzel, 6th place tonight. Brian Mercurio finishes in 7th place. Michael Venable, so the strategy paid off for him. He'll finish 8th here tonight. Matthew Zawak in 9th, and Kyler Wynn rounds out your top 10.
And from there on out, it's Kenny Brady in the 11th spot, and Christopher Pfeffer's strategy does not end up working. He's going to end up in position number 12. Cody Harris finishes in 13th with Philip Groner 14th, and Tanner Love rounding out your top 15, sees Jack Coyne just 1 spot behind him. Then we've got Matt Kemp 17th and Brandon Pipgrass in 18th, with Agno Phillip in 19th and Kenny Hump rounding out the top 20.
Going down to 21st, Jackson Crowder. 22nd, Eddie Kerner, who was running good at the end and had a little contact on that last lap. He finishes 22nd. Mitchell Hunt, 23rd. Luke Knupp, 24th. Charles Grant Jr., 25th. Ryan A. Hill, 26th. Spencer Kostowitz, 27th. Tommy Gossett, 28th. Joseph Causey, 29th. Zach Nichols rounds out the top 30 as we finish off the grid here. Thomas Hazard, Noah Bitts, Hunter Gogan, and Kyle Peddle rounds out tonight's field after a crazy caution-filled night in the Pocono Mountains.
Yeah, what a night, obviously, for here tonight in the Poconos. And Briar LaPrade able to steal one away from Daniel Buttafuoco, what looked to be his win once he got past the number 6 of Chris Pfeffer, who comes home P6. And Buttafuoco just was not able to hold off Briar LaPrade. It came down to the final turn, not turn 4, but turn 3, because what turn 4? That's what makes Pocono all the more special here tonight. And it looks like we're not going to be able to speak to our top 3 finishing results, but obviously Briar LaPrade, what a win for him tonight. I wonder if we can get one more replay there of that finish, because that was insane, with Briar LaPrade making the move, somehow making that outside lane work. I mean, David, what a finish coming off turn number 3.
That was absolutely a built-for-the-moment type move. Briar LaPrade must have been thinking that one over 1,000 times. The execution was fantastic, and it's what got him that victory. I'm still looking to get a word from him right now. Interviews, we'd love to have him in. I'm going to invite him to our server here, and it looks like we're getting some in right now. What a way to do it. I mean, when you're up on the high side of Pocono, it's a challenge to pass. No way to deny it. But right now, it looks like that number 19 machine, he's got to thank himself, patting himself on the back. 4 tires versus 2, that's what did it. The tire strategy didn't seem to be the most important factor, but at the end of the day, that crucial decision to go all the way is what got him the win. Buttafuoco, incredible hard charge, yes, but it was that 4-tire move that made him the winner of this one.
Yeah, and obviously we have Caden Rush actually currently sitting down. He's in the waiting room now. We're going to bring up Caden Rush. He's going to speak to Mr. Daniel Falkingham.
Caden Rush comes home P3 tonight. Caden, seemed like you had a pretty quiet race, and then you were there right at the end. Seemed like the strategy worked out for you, especially with all those yellows.
Yeah, I think I knew just kind of if there was a late yellow there too was the call. I knew people were going to stay out, but I feel like you would have got buried there if you took 4. And I don't know, the race didn't go for me how I wanted. I was running like 7th, 8th early on. I was just trying to bide my time. I was playing nice with people. We got that caution lap 10. Was just fine running along. Then we got to that stop at 30, and all those cautions after the heat cycles just chewed up my tires, and I got so plowing tight, and I fell back to like 12th or 13th. I let Kyler go. I let Eddie go. I let Zwack go. I was struggling bad, but yeah, I'm very glad the call worked. That was just shocking.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't know what your thoughts are on this race, but we had a ton of caution flags tonight. It seemed like every restart we would have a yellow. Like, how much was that like impacting your race? What was your thought process, especially when we had that yellow like 50 feet before coming to the white flag, and we had all those overtimes?
I was saying in VC, I needed it to if we were going to finish right there, I needed that to go to the white there, because I mean Jackson was like two or three tenths behind me, and I mean I was just plowing tight everywhere. I couldn't do anything. Restarting on the inside was brutal. You could not do anything down there. It was awful. Literally just had to be on the outside, or you had to time it just perfect. I mean, there were some people out here jumping. I'm not going to name any names, but there were some big jumpers on the restarts tonight, and I don't know. Some of the racing on the restarts was a little ridiculous. I think people got to kind of get it in check, because I get we're racing for something important, but there's no reason to race the way some of these people race.
Yeah, and now we move on from the Tricky Triangle. Now we're going to IRP in 2 weeks' time. Going to do a little short track racing. Your thoughts as we head there in 2 weeks?
I mean, I don't think you'll see anything like we saw here. I mean, people will be close. It's going to be kind of just riding on the top, probably a lot of single file. Qualifying is going to be really important. I mean, you saw how important it was here tonight for track position, and it's just going to be even more important next week. Just got to hope we can qualify good and put something together for the race. This third place really helps me in points. I was like 35th coming in. I didn't have a bad race at Mid-Ohio, but not anything great. But this should catapult me pretty far into the top 20. I just got to capitalize on these next 5 races and do what I need to do.
Yeah, for sure. Capitalizing on those points. Thankfully, don't have to use drop week just yet. But I'll give you the time here to thank anyone who has guided you to this point for your third place tonight.
I just want to thank Zach Hudson, Mitchell Hunt, any of my Nexus teammates, Logan Helton, Michael Venable, Jack Coyne, Kwame, Anthony, Austin, anyone who I'm forgetting. Just want to thank all of them. Want to thank my girlfriend. She put up with me doing a lot of racing this week. I just love her to death. Got to thank my dad. He supports me through everything. It's his birthday tomorrow, so this is a good early birthday present for him. He turns a whopping 51 tomorrow. So just want to thank him too, and just my family, anyone who supports me, all my friends. They mean the world to me, and I just want to do the best I can for them.
Well, happy early birthday to him from all of us here at FTN. Appreciate your time, and good luck at IRP in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you all for broadcasting the race.
That is Caden Rush. Thank you very much. Caden Rush P3 here tonight in Pocono. I believe Jason Rockefeller. I believe you got Daniel Buttafuoco for P2 here.
Wrong.
Yeah, we're going to bring up Daniel Buttafuoco here. Unfortunately, Dan, coming home P2 tonight, man, it came down to the last corner, and I guess the first question I just got to ask, like most people do when it comes to the motorsports and final corners and just coming up short, what else could you have done, my friend?
I don't know if there's much, honestly. I mean, I'm very critical of myself. I got pretty loose off of 2 on the white flag. Maybe I could have been more patient with the throttle, but I just had to go, right? So it was tough. I mean, I didn't want to wreck him. I think that was the cleanest I could have raced him, like, in terms of just, not wrecking him or whatever. I tried moving him up the track, but it wasn't enough. Briar did a great job on those fresh tires, or those 4 tires. And, man, that's a bummer, dude. Everybody in Motorsports Racing, we brought a great piece. We went from 17th to 2nd. I think it was like 17th to 8th before the first yellow, so we were really, really fast the whole race. We were cooking, and just kept making moves, and restarts kind of hurt our progress quite a bit. I'll be honest. I think there was a couple of restarts where I just got caught up in a bad situation, but made the most of it. And yeah, I really wanted to win that because I really thought we had a really great piece to win. But hey, second sucks, but I mean, it's good for points. I think we're leading the points now, and that's all you need is to make it to the top 20. So keep this going, and hopefully we can move on to the next step.
Yeah, well, obviously, too, in a couple weeks' time, you guys head to Lucas Oil Raceway Park, also known as IRP. How do you feel going into a flat short track, man? You really got to run the top lane there. You can run the bottom. That top lane, though, with everything that I've ran on the iRacing server, it seems like that top lane just seems to be super dominant. What are your expectations going in there in 2 weeks?
Well, hopefully a cleaner race. I mean, last year we had maybe like 4 or 5 yellows, but I think for that one, it's going to be very single groove. I don't know how much passing there will be, per se. But it's going to be a big track position race. I think I have pretty good speed in that track. Last year, we really couldn't show it because we got wrecked and we're on 100 old left side tires for a lot of it. But for that race, I think when it comes to that track, I feel like I'm pretty good. I just got to work on the setup and that one and make sure that we're competitive like we are this week and make sure we have a better qualifying set because I kind of missed it a bit. So yeah, feeling all right there, and got to thank everybody over at Motorsports Racing. Got to shout out to Blaze for the base. We gave a really solid base. We just kept working at it. Parker was giving me some tips during the race. Vince, JD for spotting and being a good, mentor and helping me with everything. And just once again, everybody in Motorsports, SRD, Apex, Racing Academy, everybody who's been a part of this journey. It's pretty crazy. I don't really know what to say, but it's a tough way to lose. But hey, we ran really good. Can't complain that much.
Well, damn, man. We'll see 2 weeks' time from IRP. Congratulations on second. I know you said it sucks, man, but hey, consistency is key. I say that to everybody, man. That's what you're going to need. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Good job. Good job digging tonight. You did one heck of a job. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time from IRP.
Appreciate it, Jason.
And that was Daniel Botafuco, driver of that number 13 machine. And now David Kreutz is going to be joined with Briar LaPrade, your race winner here tonight with a last lap pass in the final corner here tonight at Pocono.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I couldn't believe that. I really thought the race was over when that yellow came out, and I couldn't believe how close I was to getting the white flag and just thought it was over. I was actually also very close on fuel, so I almost got a double whammy there with getting bad luck, but we just kept on trying, and our Ledford Billiard Supply machine just kept on rolling. Shout out to everyone at Ryko and Ryko Performance and all that for helping me out, giving me good stuff to go race with and compete every week, and just looking forward to doing more of that, and hopefully we'll make our way into contender here pretty soon.
And it seems the strategy tonight was all over the place. Many yellow flags. Saw ourselves seeing guys going down early, late in the runs. You went down very late beforehand, and then you made that call. 4 tires at the end. Triple overtime. Gave you some time to think it over. How was it managing that as a driver? Understanding what you had to do at each specific point to make it to the end and just make it work on that drag race down.
Yeah, there was so much going on, like you guys said. Around lap 30, literally the entire field pitted except for me. And I was just sitting there joking around, just, oh, I'm the smartest guy in the field. I thought it was over. I thought once everyone pitted, I was just going to fall on back, but we kept getting those yellows and actually got lucky for once. And then I had to make sure we could, still prove that I wasn't going to get a lucky win, and, just kept our foot in it, man. Couldn't believe it. But, yeah, I thought for sure 2 tires was going to prevail there. Somehow didn't. If Botafuco just had a little bit more speed coming off the exits, I think he probably would have had me. But I think that's what helped me there, is just the extra grip I had coming off the corners and keeping up the momentum to get around him there at the end.
And a victory is a big thing in this Road to Pro format. It's only a 7-race round 2, and getting that win out the way in the second one's gotta feel fantastic. Now, Indianapolis Raceway Park, we're going short tracking for the first time in this round. It's gonna be definitely a different experience. What's it gonna take to convert this momentum and maybe try to go for some more next time we go racing in Indy?
I feel like this time around it's probably going to be just trying to keep the nose clean, honestly. This will be the first time we'll be headed here with the new damage model, so that'll be interesting. I know with the old damage model, the truck damage is very sensitive, and it would take a lot of your speed out, so going here with the new damage model should be fun, should be a little bit more aggressive racing, which is scary to say as a driver, but I'm sure it's going to be fun for you guys broadcasting. But yeah, just trying to keep the nose clean and keep track position. I'm sure that'll be the key. And yeah, we're going to try and go win more and, lock ourselves into contender here soon.
And putting one in the books, great to hear for Briar LaPrade, the quest to get back into Coke, and it's off on the right foot here in the Pocono Raceway. Anyone else you'd like to thank after this victory? Anyone else on the mind, or any final thoughts?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for broadcasting, of course. Always enjoy having those, looking back at them. And Ryko Performance and Cameron Ledford with Ledford Billiard Supply. Just shout out to those guys for supporting me and letting me compete with them week in, week out.
And there we have it. Briar LaPrade in a last lap, last turn move gets it done in turn 3 and wins at the Tricky Triangle. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
And there we have it. Briar LaPrade comes home a winner here at the Pocono Raceway. I think that's a great note to leave off on. I'm going to go to Jason first and have Dan add his thoughts too. Anything to wrap it up for you guys. I think tonight, all in all, gave us a lot of good stuff, even if at first it was a bit of a rocky road to get to that fantastic finish.
Yeah, it definitely was here tonight, guys. And before we obviously close it out with final thoughts, what a race tonight for Briar LaPrade. What a night for Daniel Botafuco, and what a nice rebound for Caden Rush, who's been very fast recently, had some struggles at Mid-Ohio despite being fast. Logan Helton comes home fourth, Ray Alfalfa fifth. All great nights. Some real heartbreakers tonight, especially Kenny Brady in the number 14, who was fast all night long. A couple other guys as well. Christopher Pfeffer thought that strategy was going to play out. He finishes 12th here tonight, but a lot of guys got involved in some incidents later on. Just a lot of yells, and hopefully in a couple weeks' time we can be cleaner at IRP, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm out of breath after all the action we saw, especially coming down to those. We ended up using all 3 overtimes, something I didn't think we were going to be able to do this season. But let alone at the tricky triangle, it's really tricky after all. All these drivers trying to navigate this track tonight for 60 long laps and then some. But I don't know. We thought all the action was great here tonight. Just think about when we go to a short track, a flat short track at IRP. And man, I'm ready to get to IRP, and I'm ready to see what's going to happen these next 2 weeks as the road to the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series continues. I cannot wait for these next 5 races, guys.
I think the hype has to continue to be up. In 2 weeks' time, we've got ourselves another great race. The Indianapolis Raceway Park for 120 laps on August 3rd, bringing us into the hottest month of the year, and it's going to be burning up the pavement. Tempers are going to be flaring. And I'm sure we're going to see one great race. Got to thank all our viewers watching tonight on FTN. Got some production team courtesy of LSR TV. Once again, all 3 of us hosting tonight's broadcast. I've been David Kreutz alongside Jason Rockefeller and our Coke Series analyst and Daniel Foggham, giving you all the action tonight here from the virtual Pocono Raceway. We thank you all for your time. Greatly appreciated. Hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. And we hope to see you in 2 weeks' time whenever we're live once again on FTN. Thank you once more, and have a great night.